Welcome to the Nordica Pro Series, designed for ski instructors worldwide to help with their certifications. I'm here with my teammate Troy Walsh and Pacific Northwest examiner Megan Jones, and our goal through these series of videos is to help you pass your level 1, 2, or 3 skiing certification. In this video, we're going to look at the level 3 assessment activities.
Let's get started.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to look at level 3 assessment activity, one-skied skiing. Bunch of things are important that we can check by seeing if you can ski on one ski. Things that could be looked for is your ability to stay balanced on one ski and change the edge, and at the same time guide and steer your feet. You could do this in a carved turn, it's pretty easy, or harder still is asking for that turn to get steered and guided. You got to have a good strong upper body, you got to have good pole usage, and you got to have good command over your edges of your skis so that you can steer your skis in round turns. Again, level 3 assessment activity, one-skied skiing.
All right, so the thing to remember about one-ski skiing is that you want to lift the tail of your ski first and make sure that you're still moving.
Pick up one foot and decide to ski on just that one foot. Both turns, important to try and maintain balance. Steer the ski around the corner. Doesn't have to be too far out of the fall line, but making sure that we get some sort of ski performance that's going to be clean.
Troy one-ski skiing. Notice when he's doing this that his goggle strap stays pretty level with the terrain, and that indicates that he's looking far enough forward that he can move his center of mass far enough forward to be able to control and pressure that ski tip to tail. Anytime you do a task that requires lifting one ski, it can be daunting. Make sure that you lift the tail of the ski first to maintain shin pressure, and look ahead, look where you're going, so that your center of mass can continue to move forward.
This is a pretty difficult task to be able to work through. Important to just make sure that you're going to ski both feet, but with one foot in the air. And that's all right. Have a little pole drag every once in a while. Just keep your balance.
You know, it is commonly said that this turn is pretty good, but this turn I really struggle with. Well, the reason that you struggle with this little toe side turn is because you're not quite ready to commit and be connected between your ankle and your whole body to be able to steer that ski. You overdo it and you move your center of mass too far to the inside, which means that you fall over. So it's common that goes, oh, I'm pretty good on my big toe side, but I'm not so good on my little toe side. Well, the reason is because you don't have control of your center of mass and the rest of your body connected up through the kinetic chain to be able to keep connected to that foot and be able to steer it. Some people will get a little bit of an up to get the ski light to release the edge. Some people will move across, but it's that ability and your control of your center of mass that then allows you to shape that turn round if you have good control of what you're doing, or you release the edge, you give it a pivot, and that foot comes underneath you, and then you're okay once the turn has happened. So it's the beginning of that turn and making sure that you control how you release that edge. Look, gang, it's right here. It's this edge, getting rid of this. If you don't release it, you don't ever turn. It never happens. You'll never go anywhere. That's one option. The other option is you say, screw it, I'm gonna go, and you commit yourself, but you go so fast, so much that you go beyond it and you fall over. That's not control of you either. When you get it right, you have control over you connected through the kinetic chain to your ski, and you can make that turn no problem. That's the reason why you can't ski on one ski. Go practice and go work on it. Hop turns. It's an athletic, dynamic assessment activity. It takes some effort. The goal is to be able to be successful is to be able to flex and extend enough, explosively enough, so you can get off the ground. You need a good blocking pole plant to help stabilize the upper body. Use the legs to get off the ground so you can pivot your skis in the other directions just by using your legs. Also, we got to land on edge skis and take off from edge skis. Hop turns. They're difficult, they're hard, but they're worth the effort and the work on them. We're at the top of a steep little cornice area, and Troy is going to demonstrate hop turns. Jump! This is why you could use a hop turn. Sometimes your feet get stuck and you got to get yourself out of the snow so that you can recover. Nice job, Troy. He found some snow that was a little bit more of a challenge, and he just kept hopping and got himself out of the snow so that he could recover. As you saw, Troy got tangled up a little bit there, but he was able to make a hop turn, get himself out of the snow, recover, and then he was able to keep skiing on. That's why you need to be able to ski hop turns to be a level 3 certified instructor, because you got to be able to do recoveries like that. You got to hop to get the skis off the ground so that you can pivot them, your legs and your skis, not your upper body, across the hill as much as needed to keep your speed down and control your descent down the hill. We're going to be hopping from edges and landing on edges. We're going to have a good solid pole plant. Level 3 assessment activity, hop turns. Get your hop on. Being able to get off the ground means that you got a good pole plant and good muscular activity in the legs. Stabilize that upper body, land on an edge ski, take off on an edge ski so that you can jump off the ground. You need a platform to be able to move off of.
In this level 3 assessment, pivot slips into dynamic short radius turns, back to pivot slips, and repeat. We're looking for you to highlight your ability to separate the upper and lower body, what the legs are doing, and be able to change that duration, intensity, rate, and timing so that you can make a dynamic turn and then detune it and make a pivoty side slip where you're actually flattening the skis at the same time. All right, we're gonna go short, 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 and pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip, and short, 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 pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip. You can see when you're watching Michael, the zippers are coming straight down the hill. And that's what you want to see. You want to see good separation of what the legs are doing compared to the upper body.
The idea in this assessment activity is, can you vary and change how you do things? Here's a quick twisting pivot, and then we get right back into moving and arcing your skis. Can you go from arcing your skis to a quick twist and pivot again? Very different integration and application of our fundamentals so that you can do both short turns and then into pivot side slips.
Two, three, 4, 5, and pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip, and 2, 3, 4, 5, pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip, pivot slip.
You know, that pivot side slip, short radius turn, pivot side slip, it's kind of interesting because You know, you think that it does nothing and it's kind of hokey, but then you start doing them and you realize how very different, if you get it right, how very different the pivots are compared to the short swings.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of things changing from going from one to the next, back to the other. So it's a head scratcher at times for sure.
And I feel like if you get it right, there's a noticeable difference. If it feels like or it looks like you're doing the same turns, just a different kind of, they all kind of blend it all kind of blends in together, chances are you pooched it.
That's a good point, because if you it has to be two distinct things, right? There has to be a short radius turn and there has to be a pivot slip. It can't be all of one and then all of another. You got to show some diversity in that.
And the things that stay the same are
tipping of the legs, turning of the legs, standing on one foot more than the other, that type of stuff.
Yeah. And the things that are different,
the duration, intensity, and rate, timing of those movements.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all short turns. They're two different types of short turns. They both have some type of pull activity. They both put an importance on upper lower body separation and stabilization so you can turn your legs. They both have the ability to tip the ski, like you said, but it's just where you do it in the turn that's a little different.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. It's a good task. It's a hard one. It's a difficult one to understand, but it's a good one.
Go and practice it.
Now we're going to take a look at basic parallel, short turns, ungroomed, level 3 assessment activity. Have a plan? Here we go. Here's the important part. Can we just keep the skis on the snow and shaping turns? Can we use the appropriate blend of skills for the task so that we can make a basic parallel turn? Having the ability to do so says that you've got control of your movements. Being able to turn the feet in a short radius at a basic parallel intensity means that you can keep the skis on the snow, which means that you got a good blend of your pressure management, pressure control skills, and the ability to steer your skis throughout the arc, along with a good pole plant to stabilize the upper body to help facilitate all of that.
Setting ourselves up, typically trying to move down the hill as we're going through here. Anytime I make a turn, there's a part of that I'm always trying to go down the hill, not holding on too much.
Hey, we're going to take a look at level 3 assessment activities, dynamic short turns.
When you watch Troy ski, notice how his femurs are so active. It's almost like they are barbershop poles and just twisting one way and the other. The zipper in his jacket moves directly downhill and toward the camera.
When you look at dynamic short turns, I mean, what you really like about Troy here is how the ski isn't pivoted past the fall line, but the ski works into the fall line and out of the fall line. The snow spray is off to the side and not down the hill. This is a good steep run up there, and it's really hard to just keep that ski on the snow and keep the ski working in the fall line. Notice Megan and her pole plant. She doesn't miss one. Every pole plant is ready. You can see that by her hands getting a little bit of movement, but that's from the pole plant that helps stabilize her upper body, because in this task, this assessment activity, a stable upper body is really critical so that you have something solid and stable to turn your legs against. That helps the ski work into the fall line and create some dynamics. That's really good. You know, I think that at level 3, this activity, this dynamic short turn activity is kind of it's almost the root of a level 3 existence. I mean, if you can make a good short turn, you can do a lot of good things probably.
There are probably a lot of good things happening.
Yeah.
Most good skiers make good short turns.
Most good skiers make good short turns. What is it about this particular activity, short turns, that's either like or you pay attention to or is important to you?
Making sure you steer your feet back underneath the body to be able to get that dynamic movement where the skis come back under the body and then you move the center of mass forward and be able to uncoil and coil into the next turn.
Yeah, that uncoil and coil is important. How do you control that though? I mean, that's kind of the crux.
That's definitely the crux. For a lot of times, I think it happens so fast. Everything is, the cadence of it, all these movements is happening so fast. So controlling this, the twist and the bend pieces, takes a lot of practice, a lot of time on snow. You gotta guess on what the ski's gonna do in the snow and hopefully you're right.
I think the cadence thing is another key issue. I feel like lots of folks, when they're preparing for a level 3, just don't do short turns. Like like short turns that move, and you don't get used to being clumsy and then having to control it when you're going at a rhythm or a cadence that you can't, and you don't ever produce that amount of just stuff that you got to control.
And practicing something that you don't normally do. It's like most people think, what's a short turn? Oh, it's one cat track wide. Well, let's do it half a cat track wide and see what happens there, because they might ask you to do that.
Yeah, you got the ability. There's variables, right? It could be short swing on one end, and it could be like a short carved turn on the other end, and anything in between kind of falls into playing ground. Megan, you mentioned that coil and uncoiling, the upper body being solid. I feel like you can't miss a pole plant either.
Oh, absolutely. Everything has to be dialed in. And I think that move too, where a lot of people get used to either singularly using a retraction move or a crossover move, you need to practice doing both and doing both in the same run.
Yeah, that's a key part. Back to versatility, being versatile and adaptable and being able to do not just what you do well, but can you do what is other people can do well and what is asked of you. Yeah, don't forget a pole plant, good upper body separation, good use of ski work so that you can create some dynamics and some forces with the ski interacting, not just at the bottom of the turn, but into and through the fall line area, and then managing and controlling that in a cadence.
Just those easy things. Just those.
Just that. For our next activity, we're going to look at dynamic medium radius turns in bumps. This is level 3 assessment activity, dynamic medium radius turns in moguls. The goal of this task, dynamic medium radius turns in bumps, is to see if you can blend the fundamentals proactively to be able to make good dynamic medium radius turns in a field of bumps and moguls. So you're going to have to worry about up and down, controlling the overall magnitude of pressure to maintain ski snow contact, or to be able to get in the air functionally if you need to skip over a bump. Also, the ability to steer and guide your skis throughout an arc in terrain that goes up and down.
What we're looking for is medium radius in the bumps. Good ski snow contact throughout the turn if needed. If you have to go in the air, that's okay. Managing your speed is super important with this one. It's not an edged lock medium radius turn. You may have some variation in that arc that's going to allow you to hit a spot that's going to be more conducive to balance and for the full run. So when I'm explaining this to candidates, I talk a lot about the tactical approach of how I'm going to maneuver my way through this terrain. I really focus in on a lot of being able to gain grip or get rid of grip throughout the arc. If I truly do a pure carved medium radius turn, I'll probably get 4 of those turns and then something horrible is going to happen. So being able to flatten the ski out when I need to, but being able to maintain the arc, very, very important. Being able to bend my legs and flex my legs in any phase of the turn is super important as well. to maintain ski snow contact and to be able to eat that energy up. So I'm not moving away from the arc, I'm moving with the arc. When we are doing this, this is an ing sport. We are flexing, we are extending, we are turning. There are so many of these times when we get stuck in a position, and if that position isn't conducive to the terrain, it's going to be a pretty bumpy ride and more than likely not very successful.
Now we're doing a little bit more of a larger radius turn in the bumps, maintaining good ski contact, but when I need to move off the snow, I can.
Okay, here we go. Medium turn. We're going to try and keep the center of mass moving ahead of the body. Now we're going to try to manage the pressure through here while keeping a good degree of upper and lower body separation.
All right, medium turns in the bumps. What a great way to work through how you're looking at the terrain, keeping the skis on the snow, maybe allowing yourself to get going a little bit.
You know, the best part about Troy here is his ability just to go up and down with his legs. The shock absorbers, he catches a little air when he needs to, but he's able to just keep steering the skis, not doing too much, and make sure that those big hits are kind of glancing blows. And he's patient enough to make the turn happen and not in a rush, because then he suddenly slows down and hits a bump, and that can end in catastrophe.
Well, being able to show that ability to manage the pressure across the bumps and in the troughs, that's where the challenge lays, because you get used to just sort of following a line. And when you're forced to do a turn that maybe isn't your usual, it forces you to have a better understanding and application of those fundamentals.
Dealing with the hit, sometimes you're starting to turn when you're really low and you're absorbing things, and sometimes you're starting to turn when you're in the air and you're way extended, and having to go this way and that way and left and right. One could say, that's tough.
There's a lot of balls in the air here, kids.
There's a lot of balls in the air. Make sure you hang on to the chainsaw as you juggle.
Yes. Yeah. These are big things.
Being able to adjust in medium radius turns, you got to be able to adjust every phase of that turn.
Every fundamental in that turn.
You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared to have a plan and then adjust that plan at an instant's note, and at a moment's notice. Like, you got to be prepared to be looking ahead and going, okay, I'm good here, and that dot connects to that dot. Now, yeah, I'm good here. Now let me scan for the next one. Nope, I'm no good. Oh, recover. Maybe I got to get in the air, or I'm going to take a big hit, deal with that. Now I'm back into it. Okay. I mean, it's such a good puzzle. Medium radius turns in the bumps.
Today we focused on level 3 assessment activities. There is a big jump between level 2 and level 3. What are your thoughts on it, guys?
I mean, through the assessment activities that we did and the amount of skiing, you surely should understand that you got to control yourself in relation to your skis. You got to manage and integrate all of the fundamentals well, and be selective about how they integrate. And so that allows you to show versatility and adaptability.
Yeah, the adjustments of the movements, how fast we're doing them or how slow we're doing them, all of that came into play in every one of those activities.
It just takes it up the next level. Everything has to adjust. You have to be versatile, and you've got to show range.
It's not easy. I mean, passing a level, it's not easy, but it can be done. I mean, it happens every time. So work hard.
I did it.
Train hard. Pay attention, keep working hard, and it can be doable. Good luck.
We'll see you there.